Hey guys, Chuck Chains here with the Fast Grip. We're going to talk about these bad boys here. Track Fender cutouts. Got them installed already. Painted them. Installed them. The other side's taken apart so I can show you guys what to do. Maybe some of the ins and outs. Give you a couple tips on how to install them. Alright, let's get to it. Instructions. Read them. Become familiar with them. Get comfortable with what you have to do, which is cut. Okay, that's part of the template they provide you, so you know where to cut. A little more on that later. Real quick shout out to Mayhem Metalworks. They make awesome front bash bars for Hondas and Acuras, front and rear, to be honest. Okay, moving on. Remove your front bumper, side skirt, fender liner. Side skirts, remove the bottom clips, plastic, and then slide forward and remove it. Those white clips, when you take off the side skirt, just quarter turn, either way, left or right, and then pull them out, okay? What I did, obviously I took them out, cleaned up my side skirt as best as I could, and then I just put them on because this is just going to help with putting it on. It's a lot harder if you put them on the car first and then try to slide it on. This way you can just pop it in place. Okay. Fender liner, more on that later because you do have to cut in order to install it with the fender cutouts. But yeah, more on that later. Okay. Pretty much all the work is done. All we got to do is just kind of go through what you should do, how you should do it, I think, and what you'll end up with. Alright, after you remove your side skirts, fender liner, all that stuff, you're going to be left with an open area. Okay, the fender liner does attach to a tab here that on the instructions it tells you that you can just hammer it back, okay, because you're not going to need it anymore. But I went a step further. I cut it off with my grinding wheel, and then I took a flap disc and I just smoothed it out. Then I sprayed some paint. Okay, I think that's the best way to go about it, because there isn't, you know, the metal chunk just, you know, bent in there. Okay, so after that's done, it's going to be a lot easier to put the cutout on and to mock it up and everything. Okay, so when you mock it up, 2 bolts here are the only thing that's going to hold it up, okay? And then what you can do is you can start playing with your gap right here, and then take some tape, put it up here, you know, mark some holes with the marker, see where it, you know, where it might land, okay? Before you start drilling into your body, make sure that you open the door several times, because you don't want to have it installed, all finished, then you go open your door and it just cracks your carbon fiber or your fiberglass cutout. Okay, you don't want that. Okay, so what I chose to do is I chose a riv nut. Riv nuts. There's 3 of them actually on each side. That's what it looks like when it's collapsed, and that's what it looks like inside there. I use stainless steel for these. 1, 2, 3. And then what I also did, I took some paint that I had, paint marker, and I went around the holes, or the riv nuts. Did it over here too. On this side I actually took some spray paint and shot it inside there. Okay. After that's done, go ahead and take one of these center punches and punch it so your drill bit doesn't wander off. Okay. Now, I opted to use this for a couple of reasons. Obviously, 1, because it's easy, and 2, because I don't think I had a 3/8 final drill bit for it. Okay. All right. So when you do those, you know, you'll see that you're probably gonna have to enlarge these holes a little bit. Maybe this one as well, just so you can get that adjustment. With this side here, you got to be careful if you're going to use this, okay? What I caught before I went any further was that it's not going to go all the way, see where that purple is? It's not going to go all the way through because it's going to go off to the side. Why? Well, there's a piece of sheet metal inside that curves that's going to prevent you from going straight. Okay, now I caught it before I actually chewed up the sheet metal that was right behind it. Okay, and I didn't have to go any further, but just, you know, word of caution, be careful, because I don't know if it's actually going to go into the cab. And remember, the ECU is just down there. You don't want to get any water in there. After all that's said and done, install your riv nuts. Again, they'll look like this. Okay, install your riv nuts, and then you can start bolting everything up. Okay. I did mention the door gap. Okay. Now really you're going to want to use just the ratchet, but just very light pressure on these. You don't want to over tighten them. No contact. Okay, so that part's done. That's the easy part, but it's not all that easy. Okay, on to the next one. The fender. Okay, so we do have to cut the fender. Again, this template right here, you can put it on the fender to see where it's going to go. It does give you a place to kind of start. But what I also did was, after I installed the cutout, I did put some tape here. I marked it roughly around where this landed, and then I took the cutout off again completely, installed the fender, and then I kind of saw where it fell. Okay. Now another thing you can do that you can go off of is going to be this little tab here. Okay, and that's where the fender liner clips into. Alright, you can see that there's just a little bit of material there, and then I cut straight across, and then you are going to have to notch that. If you don't notch it, then it's not going to have enough clearance for the cutout. If I didn't mention this before, I used Eastwood's Rat Rod Satin Black for the cutouts. I also painted the hardware black. I mean, no sense having shiny hardware. Well, not for this at least. Okay. So obviously the hard part is going to be cutting the fender. And after all that is said and done, you are going to have to line this piece up, the slider, and you will have to drill 3 holes. Okay, and install it. Again, I used the same paint marker that I used for the holes on the frame rail to cover these up. It's just some, you know, rust prevention. I'm in Arizona. I don't really have to worry about rust like some of you guys. Feel sorry for you. You got to worry about that kind of stuff. All right, let's get it on. Okay, so you're at this point. You're about to install your bumper, but wait, don't do that just yet. Make sure your gaps are good. Your fender is nice and tight. Cutouts are on, nice and tight, sturdy. Side skirt is on. I still have to install 1 screw right there. Make sure your wing nuts are on. You adjusted it as you liked, as you wanted. I kept mine at the stock location. My wheels and tires aren't wide by any means, so I kept it as is. After that's said and done, just install your bumper and you're good to go. Like I said, later on, maybe this week, I'll make a video regarding the fender liners along with the cutouts. I'm not a big fan of the huge gap or that big open area, so I'm gonna cover it up. Alright guys, remember, Track Life Composites on Instagram. Also, Mayhem Metalworks on Instagram as well. I'm Chuck Chains on Instagram, YouTube, Chuck Chains, Fast Grip. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope you got something out of it. How to install the cutouts. You know, just a visual. I know you have your instructions, but hey, it's a video. Hope you liked it. See you.